I'm submitting a proposal for South by Southwest EDU, and it actually coincides with me wanting to create a video about how I came up for the idea for my business, Your Classroom Academy. So it's worked out perfectly. My previous role before I started my business was to go into schools, school districts and schools, and support them in whatever way I could with their implementation of college and career readiness programs. Part of that included going into classrooms and doing observations, coaching, providing feedback to teachers or administrators on how they could improve their current systems. Now, when I was able to get into classrooms, that was my favorite part because that was my role prior to working for this company. I was a teacher for 7 years. I loved it, middle school. And so that was a great gift, was being able to get back into classrooms. But what I noticed was that these teachers that I was able to get into their classrooms, some of them were not using as many strategies as they did prior to COVID. Now, there are many reasons why that probably was happening, but I noticed that there weren't as many peer-to-peer strategies being used. There wasn't, turn and talk to the partner, or we're going to get up and move around the classroom. And they weren't having students processing content and then writing notes down. It was more of a direct instruction. I'm going to tell you what to write down. So there was less critical thinking happening on the student's part. The teacher was doing a lot more of the work than the students were doing. And so it was that cognitive load. So the teachers were doing the thinking, the students were just not taking on much of the thinking. And another piece that I noticed, because I would see these curriculum books that the teachers were using in the front of the classrooms, and I would ask to look at them. They were piloting curriculum or they were using curriculum. And as I was flipping through these curriculum books, I noticed that they were scripted. There was literal scripts that, like, teacher, say this, and then the students will do this thing. Teacher, say this. And it was odd. I had never seen that before. When I was teaching math before, it was, here's the concept, math, and figure out how to teach that to middle schoolers that don't want to learn that, and good luck. And hopefully they get it. So it was a really strange thing to see. And it just surprised me because it really showed me kind of that shift towards that lack of trust in teachers. And it was sad. It was sad to see that these curriculum books were like, we don't know if you're going to be able to teach this thing. So we're just going to tell you exactly what to say, exactly what to do, and your students will get there. And, maybe they did, maybe, it was like we weren't treating teachers like the professionals that they are. And it was a bummer. It was a bummer to see that. And like, I've done musical theater. I know what a script is, and they're wonderful in certain contexts, but this was not great to see. And I'm not knocking curriculum books. It's great to have tools. We need them. They're wonderful to have as resources. I just also want us to treat teachers like professionals. So my proposal, my thought is putting trust back in our teachers and giving them the tools they need to be successful, building their capacity to be successful by giving them strategies. So getting strategies back into the classroom and helping them build their confidence as professional educators. So what does that look like? So newer teachers especially they know their content. They went to school, they went to college, they know what they're teaching, but they might not have that tool belt of strategies to think, okay, here's the intent of the lesson. Here are my students. Here's my population of students. Here's how I get them here to that end of the lesson, to that intent. So if we give them some strategies, then they will be able to use their critical thinking skills and use the knowledge they have about their students to help figure out what strategies they can use to get their students where they need to be. That's really what this proposal is about, is getting the strategies into the classroom so that teachers can use their critical thinking skills to get the students where they need to go. And really building that confidence in the teachers that they're going to be able to get the students there. So it's really just taking that like repetition, giving them the strategies over time, and really building that skill set, building that muscle in the teachers, and helping them get to where they need to go. And so it's that tool belt, it takes time to build that. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not going to happen in, a 3-day conference. It's not going to happen, in one burst. So my program is really, it's a 3-year program, but schools don't have to necessarily buy into that. They can build their own program. It's all about just how can you build in your own consistent professional development system that drops these strategies in a consistent way that really supports the teachers in a way that they need, and that we know research says is the best way, that's going to get them where they need to be as professional educators. So then when they see a lesson, when they see a unit, they can use their curriculum as a tool, but they don't have to rely on it as their only way to get their kids where they need to go. Because we know that, like the students I taught in California, kind of more rural area of California, are going to be very different than the students that I also taught in a more urban area of New York City. So very different kiddos. That curriculum is going to hit differently. So if we give the teachers strategies that they can make their own, they can tweak, they can personalize, they can fidget with, then we're giving them kind of access to anything that they need to really modify and personalize. So it's really just about, again, trusting the teachers as professionals in the room. And I know, I was really hoping when COVID first started that we were going to trust the teachers in the room and kind of revolutionize education. And for the first couple of weeks, it really felt like that was where we were heading. And then it all went sideways and, didn't end up that way. But, I'm thinking that if we give teachers the tools and the support that they need and deserve, then we really can help them become stronger as professional educators, and create those engaging and rigorous learning experiences for their students, regardless of where they are, regardless of, if they're in a rural area, an urban, wherever their students' backgrounds are from, it doesn't matter. So how can we do that? What's the best way? And I think this is one way that we can do that.